We're kicking off a brand new chapter of the podcast with a special 21-day series called From Purpose to Impact. I'm celebrating by giving back to listeners who are ready to take the next step. If you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of how to move forward in your online business, I want to hear from you. Simply go to youronlinebusinessmentor.com and tell me what's been holding you back. Or ask a question you'd love for me to answer on the show, and you'll be entered in a special listener giveaway for access to programs designed to support you in your journey. I can't wait to help you get unstuck and moving forward. Welcome to day 9 of our 21-day series, From Purpose to Impact. Today, I want to talk about something that made the biggest impact in my business when I was first starting. It was repetition. In 2020 and 2021, I launched my digital clutter cure program 6 times in 2 years. It was the same core program, the same transformation, the same general structure. Of course, I did refine it. I improved the messaging along the way. I got better at inviting people, and I definitely tweaked some of the content, but at its core, it was the same offer. And here's what I didn't expect. The more I repeated it, the more opportunity appeared. At first, I was just trying to build my own business. I was focused on serving my students well. I was focused on improving my launches, on generating revenue to replace my corporate salary that I had walked away from. But as I kept launching, people started asking me some different questions. Like, how are you doing this? How are your launches working? How are you running these 5-day challenges? How are you building your list? And here's the thing. I wasn't answering them based on theory. I wasn't teaching from one lucky experience. I was teaching from repetition. I had done it again and again and again. And because I was documenting what I was doing as I went, I had something powerful. I had systems. I had checklists. I had frameworks. I had SOPs that I was building for myself that became teachable. SOPs are a standard operating procedure, and they are gold for your business, even before you have a team. So every time I was doing a launch, I was documenting what we did, what we created, how it went. Doing those launch debriefs each and every time is how I've been able to look back at my business even 5 and 6 years ago and share the stats I'm sharing with you today. So because I'm getting these questions and because I had this documentation of what I had experienced through repetition, I decided to create a space where people could watch what I was doing behind the scenes. I opened a free Facebook group and I called it Launch Strategies and Tech Support for Course Creators and Coaches. Inside that group, I shared what I was actually doing in real time. By engaging with my audience, I learned what tools they wanted to know more about. And I created paid workshops and mini courses on tools like Canva and Ecamm. I started leaning in on helping people with Kajabi, which is the platform I use to run my business. I wasn't just saying, you should do this. I was saying, here's exactly how I'm doing this. And that transparency built trust, it built authority, and it built relationships. Because I was transparent about what was working and what wasn't, people began to see me differently. I wasn't just the digital clutter queen anymore. I was becoming someone who could help them launch, who could help them experience what I had experienced. And that's the hidden opportunity inside repetition. When you repeat something enough times, you stop just doing it and you start mastering it. And mastery creates teachable systems. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, well, I don't really want to teach tech. I don't want to teach people how to launch courses. What I want you to do is look at what you're doing repeatedly in your niche and your business. What do you do over and over that creates results? Because no matter what niche you're in, I bet you have a system. Maybe you have a system for onboarding clients, or a checklist for organizing projects, or a framework for coaching conversations, or a way you streamline a process using a specific tool. If you've built shortcuts, systems, or efficiencies that create outcomes, that might be a hidden gem. That might be your next offer. For me, repetition led to something new. Because I had had so much success with challenges, I decided to create a program called Challenge Launch Roadmap. This was my A to Z signature program on how to create and launch with a challenge. But I knew I didn't want to build it all alone. So I did a founder's launch. While I planned to eventually sell the program for $19.97, I invited people to join me as a founder for $697. 20 people said yes. That meant I generated $14,000 before the program was even built. Over the next 3 months, I delivered the training and the Q&A sessions live and then spent another 3 months packaging it all up for an official launch. Now, here is another revenue boost idea that I have to share. Before the official launch, I offered it to those on the wait list for $997. 9 more people joined, which means an additional $9K in revenue. That's more than $23,000 generated before the official launch of the program. That's the power of creating live and in real time instead of building in isolation and waiting until everything is polished. When I officially launched the program, I launched it with a challenge, of course. It was a challenge about challenges, and I called it Challenge Launch Bootcamp. I offered the bootcamp for free, and 790 people registered. I also offered a $97 VIP option where they got access to additional Q&As and coaching with me, and 27 people upgraded to that option. At the end of the bootcamp, I opened the doors to Challenge Launch Roadmap for $1997, and 20 more students joined. Now, I did spend $9,100 on ads, and that is what helped me get to 790 people registered. So, total revenue from that entire launch, including pre-sales and payment plans, was just over $68,000. After ad spend, my profit was $59,000. Just saying these numbers out loud makes me so grateful because I remember many years of working full-time jobs and other businesses where I didn't earn $59,000 in an entire year. But even more than the numbers and the profit, that year was a massive learning experience for me. The repetition that I had created with the digital clutter cure helped me create authority, and the transparency of showing people what I was doing behind the scenes as I did it built trust. All of the documentation I was doing became systems, and systems became new offers. And those new offers created new revenue streams. I wasn't just doing the work anymore, I was teaching the work. And that shift changed everything. Because in 2020 and 2021, I was building my own business. But in 2022, I found myself helping other people build their business. And that's where my true passion came alive. Ever since I was in 5th grade, I remember lining up my stuffed animals and playing school. Teaching has always been in my heart. Turning those complex things into simple step-by-step frameworks has always energized me. And repetition revealed that opportunity for me. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. Where are you repeating something that feels ordinary to you, but could be extraordinary to someone else? What are you doing over and over that you've stopped noticing? Because inside repetition, there is refinement. And inside refinement, there's authority. And inside that authority, there's opportunity. In the next episode, I'm going to share why even after these successful launches, I decided to shift away from relying on big launch cycles and build something more sustainable instead. Because while repetition created revenue, I was still riding a revenue roller coaster. And that's when everything shifted again. But for now, I want you to take a look at what you're repeating. There may be a hidden offer sitting right in front of you. And that's how purpose turns into impact.